Hi everyone, welcome to KCOB Online Tuition Center. I am your teacher of English, Mr. Kayelu. Today we will be looking at a very important subject that several individuals usually struggle when they make use of certain words either in spoken or in written English. This is confusing words. Today we will look at two different confusing words that people usually use interchangeably. Whenever they want to use one, you might find that they have ended up using the other to mean the opposite of the word that they have actually used. And this is lend and borrow. So to learn more about English, I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook on KCOB Online Tuition Center. Now let's get started. Today, as I said, we are looking at the difference between lend and borrow. So to start, we will look at the definition or the meaning of the word lend. What is to lend? When you want to get something from someone, do you say, lend me your book? Or do you say, borrow me your book? These indeed are two confusing words that people use interchangeably, and yet they do not mean the same. So to lend is basically to give something to someone temporarily or for a short period of time with an intention that later on that item will be brought back to you. So the one that does the lending is the one that does the giving. So we are saying to lend is basically to give something to someone with the intention of it being brought back to you. So the concept is that when you are lending, the item leaves your hand. You who is lending, you are the one whose item is leaving your hand. So you don't lend when you are receiving, you only lend when you are giving. And the other key concept that you need to take note when you're using the word lend is that you need to make use of the preposition to, the word to, because the item is coming from you and going to someone else. We need to use the preposition to. I have lent my book to James. Okay, I've also realized the need of highlighting that the word lend has a past tense that does not follow the ed form. So you don't say lended when you want to form the past tense. Instead, the past tense of the word lend is lent with a T. You remove the D and replace it with a T. The word lent. Okay, we are basically saying to lend is to give something to someone temporarily with the intention that later on that particular item should be able to be brought back to you. Okay, for instance, you can say, I am lending you this book for 2 days. I am lending you this book for 2 days. Or you could have said, I lent her my book for 2 days. That is if it is in the past. Or I am likely to lend him my book only for 2 hours. So that is to give away. It is coming from your hand and you are giving it out to somebody else. What about the word borrow? What does the word borrow mean, and when do we use borrow? So to borrow something is basically to take something from someone with an intention or with a plan to give it back. So when you go out and get something, you go out and take something, you go out and receive something from someone. In this case, you are borrowing. So if you are speaking to that particular individual, it is not right for you to say, lend me your book. That is very wrong. When you want to get, you should say, borrow me your book, because you are receiving. It is the other individual there who should say, I am lending you, because that particular individual is giving it to you. So in your case, since you are receiving, you are supposed to say, borrow me your book. Borrow me a 2,000 kwacha. Borrow me this particular thing for a day or two, I'll bring it back. Okay, so what is the key concept? what you need to remember, if you need to remember the meaning or the difference between borrow and lend, on the aspect of borrow, the item is coming to you. It is moving away from someone else and it is now coming to you. So when you borrow, the item comes to you. Then you also need to remember that when you are using the word borrow, the key word you need to remember is that you need to use the preposition from. So you don't borrow to, instead you borrow from. Okay, so what is the key difference between lend and borrow that you need to take home now? Let's try to look at this illustration. When you are lending, you are basically following a direction of an outward, something that is moving away from you, you are giving out. And when you are borrow, this is an inward movement where something is coming towards you, or you are taking something, or you are receiving something from someone else. Look at the picture. We have A and B. In this case, the guy that is putting on the red cap, if he is the one who is giving out to B, we are going to say guy A is lending the box to guy B. Whereas the guy labeled by B is the one who is borrowing because he is the one doing the receiving of the item. So we are saying to borrow is to receive, whereas to lend is to give. Let's see if you have understood the concept. Try to answer the following 3 questions and let me hear your responses in the comment section. Number 1. I want you to complete the sentences by either using lend or borrow. And number 1 is saying, can I dash your car this weekend? Are you going to say, can I lend your car this weekend, or can I borrow your car this weekend? Number 2, she will dash you her jacket. Are you going to say she will borrow you her jacket, or she will lend you her jacket? And lastly, don't lend money from strangers, or don't borrow money from strangers. Which one of the two will you use on number 3? Let's meet in the comment section so that we see what you've understood from our lesson today. See you next time as we continue with other English confusing words. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.